Howdy Wastelanders, I'm the Roleplay Gamer and I like to party. Today I'm bringing you an update video. I had initially planned to wait till this character was fully leveled before I show it off, but you know, that could really take forever, and I'm sure you guys don't mind me showing off at least what I have planned. That way we can have a look at it when it's a little higher level and see if anything's changed, which could be fairly interesting and potentially educational. So with that, I'd like to introduce you to Deckard, the Operative. This character was born out of a desire for me to try out the whole railroad questline, and I thought, what's the perfect kind of character, both in terms of practicality, in terms of gameplay, and the roleplay side of things, you know, for the railroad quests. And I thought, it's got to be, you know, in my mind, the railroad gives me this sort of Blade Runner meets French resistance kind of vibe. So I thought, why not just like take, I suppose, the essence, the vibe of Deckard from Blade Runner and turn him into some sort of spy, operative, sneaking, maybe with a sniper rifle, definitely toting a pistol when the occasion calls for it. And so here we have the Operative. So let's get down to the specifics of it, and let's have a look at the character's special. We've got 1 strength, because, you know, really we don't need it. It's sort of all over the place because we've got a lot of extremes going on here. You know, we do have to deal with 1 strength. Perception is at 8. Ideally, in a perfect world, I want to take that all the way to 10. But we can sacrifice a couple of points in perception, at least to begin with, because we of course do have the ability to boost it later, either through bobbleheads, which of course you can get one really early on in the game, probably within half an hour or less of emerging from Vault 111, and you can also put points into your specials along the way. So the reason we've gone perception is not just for VATs, but also the ability to use sniper rifles, which is something I'd like to do down the road. Furthermore, if you're into using non-automatic rifles, which also includes shotguns, pro tip, perception allows you to do that. Furthermore, locksmith, that seems very handy with a sort of stealthy, you know, operative kind of operating from the shadows character. And demolition expert. I'm not sure how useful this is going to be, but I feel like if I'm at a point where the main perks that I want to focus on are out of my reach due to level requirements, I feel like I might put a point or two into demolition expert to probably place mines around the place, maybe prepare the battlefield before I run in there. Not guns blazing, I was going to say guns blazing, but, you know, sneak in there rather and place some headshots and hopefully funnel the enemies into my my little prepared minefield there. Endurance is at 1. Yes, this is going to make you incredibly squishy, but if you are doing the sneaking right, you know, you shouldn't really get hit at all. Now, granted, I know that's not always easy, and I know some of the quests that you will be required to do if you want to follow this build plan exactly does put you into situations where you're like stuck in a small room and there's really no way to hide from your enemies and they just, you know, swarm on you. It does make it kind of difficult, and you do have to cheese the AI a little bit, which is just... It's unfortunate, but I suppose that's the cost of doing business. But yeah, we will have to put up with 1 endurance. Alright, now here's the fun part. We're rocking 10 charisma. Alright, so aside from the obvious, this allows you to burn through speech checks like a motherfucker, which allows you to, you almost play as like a mercenary. So, you know, if you come across someone, it's like, hey, can you help me out? I can give you a few caps, and you say, yeah, okay, but give me more caps, and they agree, of course, because you got 10 charisma, and then you go, you know what, actually give me even more caps, and they of course agree because you got 10 charisma. It's kind of awesome. That aside, that's sort of a byproduct of really what I wanted from this. I went all the way to 10 charisma because I wanted intimidation. This perk, I feel like it's a bit of a hidden gem. I don't see or hear anyone talking about this, but it's kind of amazing. Yes, I will admit it is a little bit of a gimmick. What it does basically is you aim down sights at your enemies, Intimidation specifically only works on humans, so like if you're fighting raiders or something, aim down sights, and you press E if you're on PC, and there's a chance that they'll surrender. They'll put up their arms and they'll say, all right, you know, don't shoot. And with 1 point in this perk, you know, they stop dead, and then you can like blast them with VATS or something. So it basically buys you some time to line up a shot. So if you get ambushed, this sort of thing can really be helpful. If you put 2 points into it, you can then incite, you know, raiders or whoever to attack each other, which is so fucking awesome. And if you got 3 points, you can actually give them specific commands, such as follow you, and like, so it's like you give them commands like you would dog meat, you know. It's kind of awesome. Again, it is a gimmick. I think sometimes, yes, it has gotten me out of a bind, but I wouldn't necessarily rely on it. But again, we're doing roleplay here, so it's not necessarily best practices, it's what makes sense for the character. And I really like the idea of sneaking in there, putting a gun up to someone's head and saying, freeze asshole, you know, or you get to eat lead. And then making them eat lead anyway, because you don't want them running around. You know, so be warned, sometimes they will turn on you, you know, they'll get ideas and they'll be like, hold on, who's this asshole? I'll just pull out my shotgun and shoot him in the back. Nah, man, that's why you make them surrender and then you take care of them right quick. Next up, we've got intelligence at 3. Now, I really would have liked to have this a little higher, if for no other reason, just so we can speed up the leveling process, because the higher your intelligence, the more experience points you get. But we really can't justify it. We need more points in agility and luck, and we have had to make some sacrifices on account of our enormous throbbing perception and charisma, but at least an intelligence of 3 isn't too low, and it gets us to gun nut, which will allow us to modify the weapons that we will be using with this build, your sniper rifles and your pistols. Next, we've got agility. While it might have been nice to make this really high so that we could get Action Boy or Moving Target, which would have made us sort of a run and gun type character, you know, we've really had to make the sacrifice here and pull it up only to 3, but at least this gets us Gunslinger, so we can use our, you know, close quarters pistol type weapon, preferably a revolver, I think is the way to go, the sexiest type of handgun. And of course we get to put points into sneak, which is self-explanatory. Last but certainly not least, we've got luck at 2 points. I did feel the need to bump this up from the starting 1 point, just so that we're not too unlucky. It does affect our critical hit chance and our chance to find better loot. This also gives us the ability to put points into Fortune Finder, which is going to get us more caps out in the Wasteland, and of course Scrounger, which is going to get us more ammo, which of course we will desperately need. Sniper rifle ammo isn't that plentiful, at least in my experience, so hopefully Scrounger is going to help us out with that. Now on to equipment. I have been using so far just the Drifter outfit that you find on the way to the Red Rocket truck station, is that what you call it? Something along those lines. It makes me look fucking badass. It makes me look the part. Unfortunately, it doesn't give me a lot of protection, so it sort of makes that low endurance problem, you know, even worse. But I am definitely satisfied that at least we look dry fucking cool, and that's all that matters. Especially with a roleplay, I think as long as you look the part, you're doing it right. So, you know, we're going to be looking at like our trench coat type clothes, definitely clothing rather than armor, as much as that pains me, because I do like to layer on the armor. Yeah, we're going to have to go for looks here over anything else. In terms of weapons, you know, I've already touched on this. At the moment, I'm using a pipe bolt action, I believe it is, rifle that's really working for me. I'm using the ammo sparingly, so I'm using that as my sneak up weapon, and it seems to be absolutely killer if you're getting those headshots. Otherwise, when shit hits the fan, I pull out my 10mm pistol. Alternatively, I would like to use a revolver just for thematic reasons. It seems more appropriate. I do like revolvers. And there you have it. That's really all that's involved there. Again, I might dabble in explosives at a later date, but at least for now, it's not a priority. Alrighty, now onto the fun part, companions. Now, considering the whole point of this build, I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I made the build with the railroad quest line in mind. So I thought, we've got to have a synth, you know? We've got to have a synth as a companion. So I'm going to warn you right here, if you are really sensitive to spoilers and you don't want to know who's a synth and who's not, you can stop right here. You've got the main build, you know, you're probably good to go. Okay, if you're still with me, let's get onto it. Nick Valentine is, you know, an obvious choice. Personally, for me, I'm a bit of a weirdo. I like to match up my characters and followers, you know, in opposite gender. So for my male characters, I like to have female followers, and for my female characters, I like to have male followers. I don't know why. I just like the dynamic. It feels right to me. It's not for any romantic reason, I can assure you of that. So, you know, for me personally, if I was going for a female operative, I would pick Nick Valentine. Now, for me, the obvious choice for a male operative is Curie. I think that's how you pronounce her name. She's actually a really difficult companion to come across. You don't stumble across her. You've got to sort of know where to find her unless you're just really lucky. So this is how you do it. You got to go to Vault 81, and I'm not going to spoil anything. This isn't a guide on how to find Curie. Just look for a little girl who's lost her cat. That should narrow it down because there aren't that many children in the vault. So look for the school, you know, during school hours, and look for a little girl who's lost her cat. That will guide you. That will set you on the right path to find this companion. She is Mrs. Nanny, is that what it is? Like like she looks like Codsworth, basically. But I'm given to understand that further down the line of the main quest, you can put her into a synth body, and that is absolutely perfect. That is exactly the kind of character I want. You know, this badass, out for the synths, Deckard, Blade Runner-esque type of guy running around with a French accented synth at his side. It's absolutely perfect. I'm excited. I'm excited right now. I want to go do that. I'm gonna go do that right now. So there you have it, guys. That's the operative. Let me know if you feel I've missed anything or if you have any questions. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. And check out my music at ricardoastarte.com, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter for news and updates and such. Be excellent to each other, and I'll see you next time. Roleplay Gamer out.